The data on low-calorie foods says you should be losing weight. What is actually happening in your body says something completely different. That 100-calorie snack pack sitting in your pantry right now? A 2019 study published in Cell Metabolism tracked 20 adults for 2 weeks on ultra-processed diets versus whole food diets with identical calorie counts. The ultra-processed group ate 508 more calories per day, voluntarily. They weren't even trying. They just couldn't stop. Here's what nobody told you. In 1990, the FDA rewrote how food companies are legally allowed to calculate calories on nutrition labels. They didn't have to use the actual energy your body extracts. They use a 19th century formula called the Atwater system, invented before we even understood insulin. So that 100-calorie label? It's an estimate, a legal estimate. And the food industry has been quietly exploiting that loophole for 34 years. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to read what that label is not telling you, and what to do instead. So here's where you are standing right now. You are doing everything right, or so you think. You are buying the low-fat yogurt, the 100-calorie cookies, the diet soda, the reduced sodium crackers. The packaging has green check marks. There is a little heart from some health association on the box. You have been trusting a system that was built, and this is not an exaggeration, by the same companies selling you the product. The nutrition facts label as we know it was standardized in 1994. By 2002, food industry lobbying groups had successfully influenced how fiber, sugar alcohols, and fat substitutes were counted in the calorie calculation. The result? 2 completely different roads open up in front of you. Road 1 is the road most people take. They keep trusting the label. They keep buying the low-calorie version. And they keep wondering why the scale won't move, or why it moves in the wrong direction. Road 2 is the road almost nobody takes, because it requires understanding one uncomfortable truth about how your metabolism actually responds to processed food chemistry. Let's walk both roads, because one of them leads somewhere you do not want to go. Path A looks completely reasonable from the outside. You grab the 90-calorie granola bar instead of the full-size one. You swap whole milk for skim. You pick the light salad dressing. You feel disciplined. You feel informed. Here is the food science behind what is actually unfolding inside your body on Path A. When manufacturers remove fat from food to lower calories, they almost always replace it with sugar, modified starches, or maltodextrin to restore palatability. That low-fat strawberry yogurt you have been eating? Dannon's fruit on the bottom version has 24 grams of sugar. The full-fat plain Greek version has 6 grams. Fewer calories in the low-fat version, yes. But your pancreas does not care about calories. It cares about glucose. That 24-gram sugar hit spikes your insulin. Elevated insulin tells your fat cells to store, not burn. Store. Dr. Robert Lustig at UCSF published research in 2012 showing that fructose, which is in virtually every low-calorie sweetened product, is metabolized almost entirely by the liver, generating triglycerides and promoting visceral fat storage. The label said, fewer calories. Your metabolism received a fat storage signal. Those are 2 completely different things happening simultaneously, and it gets worse before the commercial break, which is exactly why Path A has an exit ramp you might not see coming. Here is the destination nobody shows you on the Path A map. By 2023, the CDC reported that 42.4% of American adults are obese, the highest rate ever recorded, despite the low-calorie food industry growing into a $221 billion market. Let that sit for a second. We have more diet food than at any point in human history. We are heavier than at any point in human history. Those 2 lines move in the same direction. That is not a coincidence. That is a mechanism. The mechanism is called the cephalic phase insulin response. When your taste buds detect sweetness, even from 0-calorie artificial sweeteners like sucralose or aspartame, your brain fires a preemptive insulin release before the food even reaches your stomach. Your body learned to associate sweet taste with incoming glucose. It prepares. Insulin goes up, blood sugar drops. You feel hungrier 45 minutes later than if you had eaten nothing. A 2021 study in Nature Metabolism confirmed this in human subjects for the first time with direct measurement. So the diet soda you drank at lunch is triggering a hunger response at 2 p.m. The 100-calorie pack at 3 p.m. triggers another one at 4:30. You are not weak. You are not failing. You are caught in a biochemical feedback loop that was engineered, and the exit is on Path B. Path B starts with one foundational reset. Stop optimizing for calories and start optimizing for metabolic signal. These are not the same target. Here is what Path B looks like in practical, real-world terms that you can start tomorrow. Step 1. Food matrix matters more than calorie count. An almond in its whole form has a different calorie absorption rate than almond flour. A 2012 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that whole almonds yield about 129 calories per serving in actual absorption, not the 168 listed on the label, because the cell wall structure resists full digestion. The food matrix slows enzyme access. The label cannot capture that. Your body can. Step 2. Protein and fiber are your metabolic anchors. Every meal built around 25-30 grams of protein and 8 or more grams of fiber produces a fundamentally different hormonal response than a low-calorie processed meal. Ghrelin, your hunger hormone, stays suppressed for 3 to 4 hours instead of 90 minutes. You are not fighting hunger. You are physiologically not generating it. Step 3. The glycemic load of a meal matters infinitely more than its caloric load for body composition. 200 calories of lentils and 200 calories of rice cakes produce completely different insulin curves, completely different fat storage signals, and completely different satiety windows. Path B is not about eating more. It is about eating in a way your metabolism was literally evolved to process. Here is what Path B looks like 6 months in, not in theory, but in the actual clinical data. The DIRECT trial, published in the New England Journal of Medicine in 2008 and followed for 2 years, compared calorie-restricted diets against Mediterranean and low-carbohydrate approaches. The low-calorie group lost an average of 2.9 kilograms. The Mediterranean group lost 4.4 kilograms. The low-carbohydrate group lost 4.7 kilograms, without counting a single calorie. Not because calories are fake, but because when your hormonal environment is optimized, your body self-regulates intake naturally. This is not magic. It is the biochemistry working the way it was designed to work before the food industry interrupted it. Path B also leads somewhere the scale can't measure: food relationship repair. When you stop eating products engineered to override your satiety signals, you stop the cycle of eating and feeling guilty and eating again. You start eating real food, feeling full, stopping naturally, and moving on with your day. That 100 calorie snack pack needed you to keep coming back every 90 minutes. A bowl of full-fat Greek yogurt with walnuts and berries. You will not think about food again for 4 hours. One path was designed for your wallet, the other one was designed for your biology. So how do you actually choose Path B when you are standing in a grocery store surrounded by green check marks and heart logos and only 80 calories stickers? Here are the 3 filter questions I want you to memorize right now. Question 1. Can you identify every ingredient without a chemistry degree? If maltodextrin, carrageenan, or acesulfame potassium are in the top 5 ingredients, the product was engineered for palatability, not for your hormones. Question 2. Does it contain protein and fiber in meaningful amounts? If the answer is no, your hunger signal will return within 90 minutes regardless of the calorie count on the label. Question 3. Would this food exist without a factory? Whole eggs, sardines, sweet potatoes, lentils, full-fat cheese, these existed before nutrition labels were invented. They do not need a label to tell you they are healthy because your body has been processing them for roughly 300,000 years of evolutionary history. The label on a bag of spinach does not need a green checkmark. The label on a 100 calorie cookie pack does, because without it, you would never mistake it for health food. That is the tell. Every time. And here is the practical truth. You cannot make these food decisions accurately without knowing what you are actually eating in real quantities. Eyeballing a serving size is consistently off by 25 to 50% in studies. And that gap is where your calorie strategy falls apart before it even starts. The first step on Path B is so simple it almost sounds insulting, but the data backs it up completely. Measure your food accurately for 2 weeks. That is it. Not forever. Just 2 weeks. A 2019 study in the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics found that participants who measured food with a digital kitchen scale for 14 days discovered they had been underestimating calorie intake by an average of 347 calories per day, and overestimating vegetable intake by 40%. 2 weeks of accurate measurement rewires your portion intuition in a way that sticks for months afterward. I have been using a precision kitchen scale, the OXO Good Grips 11-pound food scale, and it is genuinely one of the most useful tools in my kitchen. It measures to the gram, it has a pull-out display so the bowl does not block the screen, and it costs around $50 on Amazon. I will link it in the description below. I also want to mention a book that fundamentally changed how I read labels. The 100-Year Diet by Susan Yeager gives you the full industrial history of how nutrition labeling evolved and what the gaps in the system actually mean for your shopping choices. Understanding the history makes the label manipulation obvious in real time. Both links are in the description. I only recommend things I actually use and believe in. Start measuring for 2 weeks. Not to restrict, not to obsess, just to see the true baseline. Because you cannot navigate a map if you do not know where you are actually standing. That is the first honest step on Path B. Here is the bottom line, and the thing I want you to carry out of this video today. The food industry did not create low-calorie products to make you healthy. They created them to make you buy more product. And they built the nutrition label system, in 1994, revised in 2016, around rules that let them tell you a legal truth while hiding a metabolic reality. You are not failing your diet. Your diet was designed to fail you. Now you know the mechanism. Now you know the exit. If this video changed the way you see that nutrition label, share it with someone who needs to hear it. It might be the most useful 10 minutes they spend this week. Subscribe for more food science content that actually connects the research to your real life. And drop a comment below. What is the one healthy food in your kitchen right now that you are suddenly suspicious of? I read every single one. Disclaimer. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Nothing constitutes professional advice of any kind.